Hi everyone, I'm Bill.
I'm Justin.
And welcome to... Well...
Our 2019 retrospective.
Applaud! Applaud! First of all, from both of us, we wish you all a very happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2020. Happy new decade, everyone.
And it is literally almost 3:15 in the morning.
Yep, we're doing this bright and early.
We just got back from
From a party.
And we were just literally sitting around thinking, well, we'll just do this tonight.
Yeah.
Knock it out tonight. Okay, so we're going to be doing things a little differently.
Yeah, so
we usually
give out these
superlatives
for these movies, and I think this year we're just going to do top 5 best and top 5 worst.
And the reason for that is we couldn't really think of anything
to really do superlatives of this year, and
because we feel like there were movies that were good, movies that were bad, and movies that were just
meh. But I'll say this, the movies that were good really, really good.
But the movies that were bad,
at least the ones that we saw, weren't god awful. Not like gaudy awful.
Gaudy. It's alright. Coming after you, Kevin Connolly. Okay, well, before we get to the list,
some honorable mentions.
Okay. So
for the best,
how many honorable mentions should we give?
I mean, just rattle some off, man. Like,
okay,
there's Shazam.
Shazam, which was amazing.
It was an absolute delight.
We had, and you know what? We were just talking about this tonight.
Probably the best Christmas movie of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Now we know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. This movie was released in April. Well, guess what? So was
Die Hard.
Wait a minute. Die Hard not a Christmas movie? Okay.
Wait, was Die Hard released in April?
Yeah, you told me that.
No, I was talking about Shazam.
Shazam was released in April.
Yeah, but I don't know when Die Hard was released.
Okay, we'll look that up. And Die Hard, a Christmas movie, yeah, that's, we're a week late on that. And we have things to get to. It's late, we're tired, and we'd like to,
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. A great character study on some amazing cast. Some very fun alternative history.
Yeah.
If a little long.
Spider-Man Far From Home.
Great Spider-Man movie. Just missed out on our top 5 though.
And Blinded by the Light, a great story of not just of music, but also of overcoming racism and hate.
And Ready or Not.
Just a fun
horror comedy. It's a blast.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We have the top 5 worst.
Oh, and also we got to mention the bad movies that we did not see this year.
Thank God we didn't.
The Fanatic with John Travolta. Thank God I didn't see it, because I think I would have been legitimately angry at that movie.
Okay.
Cats.
Oh, I bet Andrew Lloyd Webber's not happy.
Arctic Dogs. We saw a couple of previews for that, and we kind of knew right away it was not going to be good at all. And Action Park, because I don't know, we're just not into jackass humor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, getting back to the good honorable mentions, I forgot too.
What?
Irishman.
Mm-hmm.
Very good movie.
A little long.
Yeah. And movie I saw, he didn't. Two Popes, which I thought was a great dialogue. And I think John Price and Anthony Hopkins just did a wonderful job. Okay, so now let's get down to business. Here's what we're going to do. We have 5 best,
And we have 5 worst.
So we're going to intertwine. We're going to do the number 5 worst, then the number 5 best, the number 4 worst, number 4 best, and so on and so forth. Okay, this isn't going to be 2 hours like our usual ones. We're going to try to keep this,
short-ish.
So, cause,
even though we're already 5 minutes in.
Okay, so
our 5th worst. This is a movie that Bill hasn't really seen, but I've seen, and it is.
I'm just gonna sit back here and sip my iced tea while you.
Oh my god, this movie. Our number 5 pick is Serenity, the Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jason Clarke neo-noir thriller. It's just such a creative blunder that it's almost kind of amazing that this movie even got made. It's about a fisherman who is encountered by his wife to kill her current husband, and the big twist of the whole movie is they're actually in a video game. Not like the Jumanji kind of fun video game, but this boring, pre-scripted, I don't know that I'm in the video game, but now I am in the video game, so I'm gonna just do this shit. And it's just baffling that they would go in that direction, considering that nothing in the marketing led to this. It completely marketed itself as a neo-noir thriller, and it was actually the Brad Jones review that kind of got me on board with the insanity of it. I watched this with my parents. They hated this movie. And I was just laughing my ass off. Because this was just a poorly conceived movie. A poorly conceived idea. And it just did not work.
Anything else to say about it? You good?
Jimon Hounsou's in the movie too. He's good in it.
Ish.
And Anne Hathaway, though, she was just
awful.
Like, it's almost like the bad acting was almost on purpose, though.
Yeah.
So, it's just a baffling movie that, if you like bad movies, this is a perfect movie.
So this is like a so bad it's good.
It's in that territory. It's definitely in that territory of so bad it's good. And that's why I have it so low on the list.
Okay, before we go on, we just forgot to give the usual warning. These are just our personal opinions. And if you disagree, or if there's a movie that we liked but you didn't, or a movie that you liked but we didn't,
more power to you.
Hey, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Okay, number 5 good is Rocket Man.
Love this movie.
I think it was just it was just a really look into Elton John's biography.
Without taking it too seriously.
Oh yeah, you have the heart-wrenching moments, but they're not...
I mean, they kind of fictionalize it to a point where it's almost like a fantasy.
Yeah.
Which I think I admire more than what they tried to do with Bohemian Rhapsody, which actually got factual things wrong in the name of drama. But in this...
It's a musical.
It's a musical. It's a fantasy. It's not... These events, from the get-go, didn't happen the way that happened. You know that 5-year-old Reggie Dwight didn't sing "The Bitch Is Back."
Because, they do, the songs are kind of out of order, so.
Yes.
But, if that bothers you, you might not like this movie.
But personally,
we liked it. We loved it.
It's just
Taron Egerton does a great job as Elton John.
I think it rivals Rami Malek's performance as Freddie Mercury, personally.
In Bohemian Rhapsody.
And what a voice. Like, Taron Egerton
can sing.
Does his own singing in this movie.
Like, they don't dub him or anything.
No, that's him singing. And he does a hell of a job. And, they have all of the songs that you'd want to hear. Well, maybe one or two that you might want to hear that aren't in the soundtrack. But pretty much every song's accounted for from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, and it was just great. And the musical numbers are incorporated very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4 worse.
Take a deep breath, Bill.
Disney. How dare you? My number 4 worse. Our number 4 worse is the Lion King live action remake.
Okay.
Okay. What was this crap? Seriously, it's... Again, for those who don't know me, The Lion King is like my favorite animated Disney movie. And the thing is, it tried to be too realistic.
Almost to a fault.
You can't tell this story. It's like happy lion, sad lion, angry lion, horny lion.
Okay.
And it's just, like, let me give you an example.
The emotions don't translate.
Let me give you an example. Like, during the, your least favorite song, the I Just Can't Wait to Be King song.
Mm-hmm.
It works in the animated film because there's all these colors and,
And they do all these things that animals cannot do in live action.
And it doesn't work here because it's too realistic.
Again, can't work in live action, so they don't even attempt it.
Elijah? Anyway, but like, it's just... But you know what? Okay, I actually do know some people who like this movie. And if you do, fine. More power to you. It's just, okay, to give this movie credit where credit is due, where they did slightly better than the original, is they actually did get actors who can sing.
Well, you can't. What are you saying that the actors in the original couldn't?
Well, okay, no, that's not true. I take that back. Okay, they did get actors who can sing in this one, and the actors in this one,
they're fine.
They're not bad singers.
Probably the worst one is probably Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Be prepared. And just like one last thing, and this doesn't have to do with singing, this just has to do with acting overall. James Earl Jones just looked like he was phoning it in.
Mm.
It just looked like you could have just played the audio from the original, and
they did exactly the same thing as The Lion King did, but worse.
And that's why it's... Okay, let's move on to number 4, good.
Number 4, good. Knives Out.
This was a fun one.
Oh my god. Who doesn't love a good whodunit? And you know what? Like, it makes you think that the answer is right in front of you the whole time.
Like, you think, okay, this is like open and shut. The first time I saw it, I was like, okay, we'll be out of here in like 45 minutes. But then, when it kept going, I'm like, what's with all this padding? We know what happened. Let's just wrap it up and go home.
Do you, though?
But then, when they show... But there's a good twist at the end.
Oh, the twist.
Is amazing.
Sometimes a twist can make or break a movie.
And this one makes it, boy.
Oh my god. The twist absolutely made the movie.
And it's
for
amazing.
us. It's
fantastic.
Daniel Craig does an amazing character with
Barthelon Blanc.
and the family is just, it's the kind of family that you love to hate.
They're just a bunch of rich, entitled
Assholes.
But you know what? It's like what you see. Christopher Plummer's character is, that rich guy who's actually
Not a bad dude who actually cares
about
his family much more than he probably should.
But you know what? It shows that he really does care about what's her face, Marta, who's played by
Anna de Armas.
He really does care because in the plot her mother's an undocumented immigrant, and he's like, hey, if this comes out, and he's not doing it to blackmail her. He's like saying, hey, if this comes out, you can get in trouble and your mother can get deported.
Like, he's doing all this to protect this woman who her only job really is to give him his medicine.
And you can tell that he really does care about her, and he has that mindset of, you know what? My kids and grandkids are spoiled, entitled brats.
You're the only one who really deserves all this.
You need my help more than they need mine. You need my help more than they do. But
and special mention to Chris Evans, who plays
the typical trust fund spoiled brat, but he does a really good job at it.
And what they do with his character is phenomenal. And this is a very Rian Johnson movie. So Rian Johnson, for those of you who've been living under a rock in the past 2 years, is very well known for subverting expectations. Now, in a Star Wars movie, that might not work.
But here,
it absolutely does. Our expectations were subverted in probably the best way possible.
Yeah. The twist really made this movie, and
the sign of a really good twist is that you can rewatch the movie and it gets better after knowing the twist.
I agree. Okay. And again, Daniel Craig is good as an eccentric,
detective.
Yeah. Okay.
I really do hope that anthology series gets made.
Me too. Okay, number 3. In worst, right?
Come, Dumbo. We must make our pilgrimage to Pride Rock. I hear we have a new king.
God damn it, Disney. Seriously, 2 bad remakes in...
Hey, at least Aladdin didn't make the list.
Okay, for those who want to know our thoughts on the Aladdin, it's
fine.
It's okay. It's not anything great, but it's not terrible. Dumbo... Okay, it's just...
There's a good movie trying to get out of this, but a lot is bogging it down.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I love Tim Burton. Love Batman. Love Edward Scissorhands. Love The Nightmare Before Christmas.
He produced that. He didn't direct it.
But it's technically his movie. He produced it. He wrote the story. And the name of the movie is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. But we're getting off topic. It's just, there was one scene that we were really looking forward to, and...
The pink elephants. Not too much to ask for, just a really fucked up, child-scarring scene that could have been enhanced by some Burtonisms.
Yeah, and you know what the problem is? How we said with The Lion King was doing basically everything the same thing and it failed miserably? Whatchamacallit? Dumbo basically does the exact opposite.
Yeah, it
tells a whole new story.
Like, the whole Dumbo story is told in, the first 30 minutes?
Yeah.
And then you get this story about a Ringling Brothers-esque bad guy who's trying to make a buck off of Dumbo now, who wants to kill the mother and fire the circus freaks. It's
And you know what the villain is? An asshole.
in the suit.
I hate asshole in the suit villains.
It's
getting too tired. It really is.
and I'm sorry, but every character in this movie, besides Dumbo, kind of unlikable.
Well,
Even-
Danny DeVito
Okay, Danny DeVito,
is the
After-
fun unlikable.
yes, but he's still unlikable. Like, who are you supposed to root for? Okay, fine, Dumbo, but like even the
Dumbo's cute.
cute, yeah, like, but even the kids who you're supposed to be rooting for too,
They have the personality of the table we're filming on.
it's just
Actually, no, this table has probably more personality.
especially that girl.
Oh my god, I like barely seen her smile.
She reminds me of the Small Wonder Girl.
And she wants to be a scientist, and to be fair, everybody is sort of, laughing her off. It's like, a woman wants to be a scientist? Most unorthodox! You laugh when I do that.
Oh my god.
It's just,
Yeah,
and it's just, as you said it best, it's too dark for kids.
And too goofy for adults.
Okay, can you explain that, really quick?
So, like, you have murder in the movie,
Yeah?
which, my god, you're showing that in the Disney movie.
A Disney picture!
You're seeing, like, a guy being crushed to death by a mad elephant.
Yeah.
Rampage. Which, Jesus Christ. That's like Maleficent,
On steroids.
Mistress of Evil, holy shittery. And then you have this faux whimsy that they try to throw at you.
I'm not even gonna do it.
And I'll just go, the best example I can come up with is the pink elephant scene, which is fucking Bubbles.
And he doesn't even look frightened. It's just,
He just
you're not supposed to be enjoying this. You're supposed to be,
scared out of your mind. This is supposed to be like a drunken
nightmare.
nightmare.
God help us. But yeah, Dumbo.
And the mouse is barely mentioned. Like, literally, he gets one mention in the whole movie.
That's it. Yeah, so, yeah.
It's just, it wasn't good.
It's, paraphrasing Jeremy John, it's not dog shit. You know what it is?
Elephant shit.
It's elephant shit. And, yeah, hopefully Disney does better with future live-action remakes.
Like I said, though, there is a good movie trying to get out of it. The best way I can describe it is like there's a 30 to 70% good to bad ratio. But the bad really outweighs the good.
Yeah. So, number 3 is Dumbo. Number 2.
Number 3, good.
Okay, number 3, good. Sorry. Avengers Endgame. Now, we know what you're thinking.
Why is this not number 1? We know you people. We know you love your comic book movies and...
Okay.
Well, yes. The last 45 minutes of Endgame
Or
was
fantastic.
Fantastic.
It has great action.
Great character moments.
And
Great fanfare. It's just
of course...
pure, unadulterated fun.
And of course the ending, which is perfect.
It's just a perfect ending. It's a love letter
To all...
to all these movies.
Yeah, but, the other 2 hours, while good...
Kind of a little long.
And they drag a bit.
And this is a problem that you kind of experience with a lot of time travel movies. Is that you get to all these plot holes that you have to keep explaining and explaining and explaining. Eventually, you are going to lose a couple people. I think the Honest Trailer kind of explained it best. How many times did they explain the concept of time travel in that movie?
A lot.
Yeah. Like, it's an extremely well-made movie. Some choices might rub some people the wrong way. Fat Thor, Smart Hulk. I know my father wasn't necessarily, he wasn't crazy about Smart Hulk in particular.
Is he against smart green people?
No, I think he just wasn't as invested in him as everything else.
That's fair enough.
Which I get.
But yeah, good movie.
Very good movie. Amazing ending.
Yeah. Alright. Number 2, bad-ish.
Now, this, we actually were debating which one should be number 2 and which one should be number 1.
It's not like how last year it was easy when, for those of you who don't know what our worst movie was, last year it was Gotti. And that was just so easy. Like, the moment we saw it, we were like...
We knew.
Like, we saw it in June, and we know, yeah, this is worst movie.
Yeah.
But,
with this one...
The bad movies this year, they weren't really...
They were more uninteresting than
just god-awful.
God-awful.
But, yeah. Number 2...
Gemini Man.
No disrespect to Mr. Will Smith.
Nor Mr. Ang Lee.
But this movie was just boring.
Now, this is a movie that's been in development hell since the 90s. It shows. This was a movie that was written by... The writing credits went to David Benioff of Game of Thrones fame.
And
Billy Ray, who did Overlord and Terminator Dark Fate and Richard Jewell.
oh boy.
And one of the writers of Shazam.
Yeah, but this movie was just...
I think there was just too many cooks in the kitchen, and it just became too bland of a movie.
As you describe it, it's like a freshman film school screenplay.
Yeah, it almost felt like a first or second draft.
And it it sucked.
Yeah, it just wasn't interesting. The plot was just...
Standard.
It just didn't grab our attention.
It's not a movie, it's a sleeping pill.
Yeah, it was just boring.
Yeah, you have an insomnia, put this movie on, it'll put you right to sleep. You like that one?
And it's not without good performances.
Will Smith tries.
What's her name tries?
Rosario Dawson.
No, it wasn't Rosario Dawson.
Wasn't she in that, or?
No, shit.
Can't remember her name.
Can't remember her name.
Hey, listen, it's 3 a.m, it's,
Hang on, I'm looking it up.
Okay, but anyway, this movie was just... It was just like, we were kind of looking forward to this, too.
Yeah, like, we've been hearing, like, really good things about the technology that's been used in the movie, like this cutting-edge de-aging technology, which wasn't de-aging technology, it was motion capture. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. That's who it was.
Yeah, so overall, this movie.
And it was shot in 120 frames per second, so everything is supposed to be super clear. But with that, now we saw it in the 120 frames per second, 3D. With that frame rate, the effects, the visual effects, become a lot less realistic.
Okay.
And it shows in quite a few scenes. There were scenes where you're like, okay, that's definitely CGI Will Smith. There's scenes where, okay, that's definitely CGI motorcycle fighting. There's motorcycle boxing in this movie.
Yeah, it's just as weird as it sounds.
It's just not a good movie.
Yeah. Okay, so number 2, best.
Joker.
Now this is a. Now this is a movie. Now this is a movie that, we'll be honest, is disturbing.
It's a very hard movie to get through.
And like again, we've been saying, if you do have some sensitivities,
maybe not the best movie to watch.
and we're not making fun of you. We're just saying this movie's not for everyone.
This is an intense character study into how someone,
quoting The Killing Joke, how one bad day can make the sanest man go crazy.
Well, wasn't exactly one bad day. It was more like one bad life.
Wait, isn't that the quote?
That is the quote.
But it's basically the explanation of what happens when somebody is just
abandoned by society and left in his own madness to stew and
we get this
break.
And
this is a dark movie.
It's a good movie, but I'll be honest, it's like 2 hours of a man having a mental breakdown.
It's not pleasant, but it's fascinating to watch. It's a movie that
needs to be studied.
Yeah.
And you know what? The good thing of this movie is I hope this movie starts conversations.
It's a movie that, and this is the testament to a good movie, that even if you're coming out of the movie with more questions than answers, you appreciate that. Typically when a movie does that, that's not a sign of a good movie, but in this case, there are so many...
Because it makes you think, like, did it really happen? Did he maybe make all this up?
Did certain things happen? Who's not telling the truth?
And that's what this movie...
It makes you think about everything you just watched. And it stays with you. Like, I came out of this movie and I'm still thinking about the movie. I'm still thinking about what is good, what was real, what was not, what could have happened, what might have happened. It's just, I'm still thinking about it.
So I would recommend it, and I thought it was really good. And Joaquin Phoenix,
he needs to win that Oscar.
He really does.
I think that is the performance of the year.
Just a really good examination into someone going into madness.
And there's things about the character of Arthur Fleck that you wouldn't necessarily have thought about the Joker, but once you think about it, it really
Makes sense.
really makes sense. Especially the laughter.
And especially putting in the Batman characters in there was great.
You know what?
And you know what's interesting?
At first, I wasn't 100% on board with that, but I've been hearing more and more people's point of view on that, and they're swaying me.
And you know what? We see Thomas Wayne from a different angle. Because in Batman Begins, he's portrayed, as you know,
An amazing guy.
a decent man. But
In an indecent city.
But in this movie, he's an asshole.
Oh my god,
He's
yeah.
like stereotypical rich. All us rich people are wonderful. We're so great.
Mm.
All the poor people are a bunch of losers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm their only hope.
I can definitely see why they wanted Alec Baldwin in the role.
Really?
Yeah.
I could actually see that. But anyway, yeah, Joker is just a great display into madness. Joaquin Phoenix puts in a great performance. Not an easy movie to watch, but
It's a really good watch if you can take it.
yeah.
Not for the faint of heart, but it's fascinating. And you know what? It's not like there's no comedy in it. There is comedy in it. It's dark. But, I laughed at quite a few scenes in it. Maybe a little more than you did, but
There were some scenes, as much as I liked it, but there were some scenes like, okay.
sense of humor.
Yeah, okay, so... Alright, that's number 2. And now we go for the number 1 worst movie of 2019.
Oh, man. This one, I'm sorry, Bill, what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again, expected a different result.
So, let me ask you a question.
Okay?
Why would you get the writer of X-Men The Last Stand,
Okay.
the movie that already botched the Dark Phoenix saga, and have him not only write, but direct another adaptation of the exact same saga?
I don't know, Justin, why? You know what you get, though?
You get Dark Phoenix.
Oh boy, this movie sucked! It's boring.
This one made me kind of mad.
Okay.
Because, you know what? The X-Men movies, yes, it had its ups and downs, but it seemed like it was going in a good direction at first, Like, X-Men First Class, it's a really good movie. Days of Future Past, another really, really good movie. They faltered with Apocalypse, but you know what? They could have recovered with a good script.
And then
They really, really botched it. And it seemed like absolutely nobody on the project was on the same page.
nope.
The studio wasn't on the same page. Simon Kinberg wasn't on the same page. They were changing scenes so that they wouldn't be compared to the MCU, because apparently, like, the final battle was supposed to take place in space, and it was going to be too similar to Captain Marvel. It's just, what were they thinking with this?
It was just bad.
Like, even the acting was bad. Like, just look at if you don't believe me, just look at Jennifer Lawrence in the movie. She 100% was phoning it in. Like, I'm half convinced that she wasn't even there, that it was just like some robot they made of her.
J-Lawbot.
It just was...
Yeah, this movie
It
sucked.
betrayed characters It didn't follow continuity. It was just a failure on all parts. And I don't really know who to blame for this, you know? Like, do I blame the studio? Do I blame Simon Kinberg? It's just...
Who's to blame?
It's just one big fuck up. And boy, did they fuck it up.
Oh, they fucked it up big time.
Like,
Yeah.
I think people kind of said, oh, the last action sequence on the train was pretty cool. And, okay, it was alright. It wasn't anything to write home about. Definitely not something to conclude a franchise with.
Nope.
It's just... It tried to promise us something grand, and it tried to go out with a bang, and...
Well, went out with a whimper.
Yeah.
A bad whimper.
So, congratulations, Simon Kinberg. You fucked up the Dark Phoenix saga twice.
And now, what's it going to be like now that X-Men is most likely going to be part of the MCU?
Well, they're not going to do the Dark Phoenix saga for a while, that's for sure.
Okay, just because you remove the X-Men, like, your name from it, like they did with Logan, doesn't mean it could work again.
It was just bad. Just really, really bad.
Yeah, so, yep. Dark Phoenix is our worst movie of 2019. And now let's end on a high note. The best movie of 2019, in our opinion, is...
Jojo Rabbit.
I really like this movie.
Oh my god, like I said, this is my absolute favorite movie of the year.
And it kind of asks a question. Can you ethically satirize Nazis?
Yes, you can, if you are smart about it. And thank God someone like Taika Waititi was writing and directing this movie, because he's probably one of the only people who could successfully do this movie. It had such a mixture of irreverent comedy, dark comedy,
Drama.
compelling drama, tragedy. It's just... It
And
plays with every single emotion you could think of.
And what's good about this movie is when it needs to have a fun moment, it has a fun moment. But when it needs to be serious, it's serious. And, you know, Taika Waititi really...
He took his time with this script. You know he did. And the performances in this movie are out of this world.
Roman Griffin Davis,
who plays young Jojo,
and just got nominated for a Golden Globe.
absolutely deserved.
I wonder if he's gonna get an Oscar nom.
I don't know, but he...
And listen, kid, if you're watching this, which he probably isn't, if you don't win, don't get discouraged. He's got
You're an amazing actor, man. Like, you got a very, very bright future ahead of you. Amazing chemistry with the girl who played Elsa.
Yeah.
That was her name, right? Elsa?
Yeah.
Okay. I keep confusing her name and the sister's name. The dead sister.
Yeah. Ingrid, I think it was.
Inga or something like that.
Yeah,
and Scarlett Johansson, probably a career best for her.
Playing the mother.
Oh my god. She could be this fun, free spirit one moment, and then
the stern.
Oh, she doesn't really get stern, but she has this. She has this one scene in the movie that is absolutely phenomenal, and
we can't say enough about it.
there's scenes that at the same time can be gut-wrenchingly hilarious and terrifying at the same time, especially someone someone like me who has had family experience the horrors of the Nazis' crimes.
And, like, they don't do, like, Schindler's List and show the concentration camps, but they
don't hold the punches when they need to. They never really needed to show the concentration camps because it never went there, Like, the characters were all in Germany. It all took place in Germany, and it's
sort of like probably Nazi Germany through a child's perspective, in a way.
when a comedy can make you think this much about, like, the origins of hate and how it can be imprinted onto impressionable minds.
It's like how JoJo sees Hitler.
The opening sequence is literally Beatlemania for Hitler.
Oh yeah, we just had the whole movie how JoJo has this, like, imaginary Hitler.
And over the course of the movie, you see his perception of Hitler change, and his imaginary friend changes with that perception of Hitler. And it's actually really, really amazing how they do it.
He's not viewed as, like, the monster that he was.
Not at first.
But he's viewed more as, like,
JoJo's buddy. His imaginary friend. It's
just, again, when it needs to be fun, it's fun. When it's serious, it knows when to be serious.
And it kind of aims for you to kind of be a little disturbed by it. Even though
it's not Joker level disturbing.
No, but the concept of it alone is disturbing.
Yes.
But it's done in a way where you can laugh at it.
Absolutely.
Even though you might be like, should I be laughing at this? But where they go with this movie is
up.
It's just elevates it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And it's absolutely my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah. Okay, so we hope you enjoyed this list. Again, to everybody out there, thanks for supporting us this year.
And before anyone says anything, we didn't see 1917 yet.
So, because here's the thing. Okay, first they told us it was going to be released, like, December
25th,
Actually,
Christmas.
first it was going to be released, like, before that, like 16th, 17th.
Oh.
But then, now they were telling us it was going to be released on Christmas. But
that's only a limited release.
So it's not getting released near where we live until next week.
Yeah.
So we're going to see it, and we might have to
revise our list.
Yeah. And it's just that, we didn't get access. We don't get access to early screenings.
Yeah, we're not in the city.
We live like an hour out of the city, and it'd be a pain in the you-know-what to go down there for a movie. So, all right, guys. So, again, Thank you for all the support this year. We really appreciate it. And here's to 2020. It's going to be a better year. And we can't wait. We will see you at the movies. Bye-bye, guys. Happy New Year.